you. Yakiwa, welcome to the Ordinary Council meeting on Tuesday, the 24th of March, 2026. Welcome to all councillors and staff and those joining online and in the public gallery. Please note that today's meeting is being live streamed and can be viewed by the general public via Council's Facebook page and later uploaded to Council's website. By participating in and addressing those present at the meeting, you consent to any information you disclose, including any personal information or sensitive information being recorded and uploaded to the website. I now ask Councillor Murray to read the opening statement.
Thank you. Through you, Mayor. As councillors, we recognise the responsibilities we carry and are guided by the values of service, respect and integrity. Good decision-making requires transparency, accountability and behaviours that uphold the trust placed in us as elected representatives of the community we serve.
Thank you, Councillor Murray. I now ask Councillor Ryan to read the acknowledgement of country. Thank you.
Through you, Mayor, we acknowledge that Karay Wurrung people as the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today and pay our respects to their elders past and present. We extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples here in the gallery and watch.
Thank you, Councillor Ryan. Do we have any apologies today, councillors? Councillor Murray.
Through you, Mayor. Just noting apologies from Councillor Taylor.
Thank you, Councillor Murray. Do I have?
I guess I would like to move that apology be accepted.
Thank you, Councillor Murray. And a seconder. Thank you, Councillor. Speak to the motion. No. We now put that motion to the vote. The apologies. Thank you, councillors. These move 6. Thank you. We now move to the confirmation of minutes from the Ordinary Council meeting 24th of February 2026. Any questions, councillors, on the minutes? Questions? Does anyone wish to move the office or recommendation? Thank you, Councillor Ryan. And the seconder, Councillor Foster. Thank you, Councillor. And as the mover.
Nothing further. Thank
Nothing
you.
Further. Thank you. And Councillor.
Nothing to add. Thank you.
Nothing to add. Does anyone wish to speak for or against the motion? Move it to sum up, Councillor Wright.
Nothing further.
I'll now put the motion to the vote. Those in favour? 6-0. Thank you, Councillor. Any declarations of conflict of interest for the meeting of the councillors or staff? None. And there are no public participation for today. Yep. We'll now move on to our monthly financial report, item 2.1, Director of Corporate and Governance. And Ms. Robertson, if you introduce the report. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Councillors, this report provides Council with a snapshot of the organisation's financial performance as at the 28th of February 2026 and forms part of Council's regular financial oversight and responsibilities. And the recommendation is it.
Thank you, Ms. Robertson. Any questions, councillors? Councillor Ryan.
Through you, Mayor, I have 2 questions, if that's okay.
Yeah. So,
First one, the rate arrears are higher compared to the same time in the last year's period. So I'm just interested to understand what that might be telling us about our financial hardship for our community. Ms. Robinson or Mr. Everstein, can you please advise what supports are available in terms for our ratepayers, such as instalment arrangements, and whether council is actively promoting these targeted interventions?
okay. Thank you, Councillor Ryan. Ms. Robertson.
Through you, Mayor. Happy to answer that. Thank you. So definitely our rates in arrears has increased and it could be indicative of the increased cost of living and hardship that people may be experiencing. We do note there are some residents who pay their rates seasonally, so sometimes they come in at different times to the normal schedule, the normal instalments. But as far as payment of rates, we're more than happy to speak to anyone that might be experiencing hardship or difficulty with a payment. We are more than happy to enter into payment arrangements or assist residents to move towards a payment plan. Residents are always welcome to pay their rates via instalments up to their choosing. So by using the BPay function, you can pay your rates or pay amounts to rates at any time by BPay. We do have people that do that. We're also looking at the moment or exploring options for direct debit, so that will be coming shortly, and looking at further hardship provisions that we can assist with moving forward.
Second question.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Since today's agenda was published, the CareLink software system used to manage community care clients is now operational. That has been down for the last few months, as we spoke about it in our last ordinary council meeting. And that was due to significant system failures, which has been out of council's control. Can someone please provide an update on where to from here now that that system is operational?
Thank you, councillor Ryan.
Through the Mayor, thank you for your question. So just by way of update, last Tuesday evening, latest patch and fix was successfully applied to the program, and since last Wednesday morning, the CareLink system has been operational and allowing data to be added for clients accessing services under the Supported Home program. Further patch was added Wednesday evening, which has enabled data to be sent between Council and Services Australia. This has meant that our community care team are now preparing a claim for services provided from November 1st through to March. Do note, preparing that claim will be a significant task with 5 months worth of data needed to be entered for 100 individual clients.
Any other questions, councillors, regarding the monthly finance report? Does anyone wish to move the officer recommendation? Councillor Murray, and the seconder, Councillor Roth. Councillor Murray as the mover.
Thank you. Nothing further. Through you, Mayor.
Nothing further. Councillor Ross. Any further? Anyone need to speak for or against the motion? No.
Thank you.
I'll now put the motion to the vote. Those in favour of the financial report is carried 6-0. Thank you. Very on to item 2.2, now State Council Motions Report. Director of Corporate Governance, Ms. Robertson. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Councillors, this report seeks Council's endorsement of the proposed motions for submission to the Municipal Association of Victoria State Council meeting in May 2026. These motions reflect Council's key strategic advocacy priorities and are aligned with the previously endorsed Australian Local Government Association National General Assembly recommendations.
Any questions on the councillors? So I'll start.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a quick question for Ms. Robinson. The recommendation refers to 5 motions, but we've obviously got 6. So that's just a little typo oversight.
Through you, Mayor. Yes, thank you for the pickup. There was an error in this report and the motions were revised to 6 motions and the 6th one has been left off. So we would need to amend that recommendation.
Councillor Murray.
Thank you. Through you, Mayor. I would like to propose an alternate motion for this item, if possible. Amended. Internet. Amended motion. Thank you. Councillors, I might read out the amendments, the proposed amendment, being that Council endorsed the following 6 motions for submission to the Municipal Association of Victoria State Council meeting. Item 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 remain the same, with the addition of a 6th motion as follows. Funding support for roadside vegetation management mapping, advocacy for dedicated funding and technical support for Victorian councils to undertake roadside vegetation mapping and management planning, including the identification of biodiversity values, cultural heritage sensitivities, noxious weed presence and fire risk considerations across local government road networks.
The second that, Mayor.
Second that. You wish to speak to that motion?
Through you, as the mover, through you, the motions that we're taking up to the NAV state meeting, they're strong and they're things that we really need not just at our council, but they're things that we've identified that local governments right across the state are in need of, particularly with the addition of the sixth item being funding support for the roadside vegetation management mapping. This is really crucial work that I know our council needs to undertake and many others will as well. So I'm hoping that we get some support from our state councils. But yeah, really happy to move this and happy to have these considered as part of our state advocacy tonight.
Councillor Murray, Councillor Foster as the seconder.
Thank you, Mayor. I agree with Councillor Murray here. We've got an important role to play in advocacy and speaking with other tiers of government on behalf of our residents. And we have 6 motions here that speak to really big issues that we couldn't hope to address on our own financially. So just briefly, I'll run through them, making sure we've got the right measures in place to protect our vulnerable coastline from the impacts of climate change, funding to make it safer for our residents to move around their communities, a fairer formula for funding some of the big ticket items that keep our shire moving, so the roads, the bridges and other assets, better AI and cyber security, sustainable funding for swimming pools. That's obviously an issue that's very front of mind for all of us at the moment, and funding for vegetation mapping. And had we had that work done over the past year or so, I think we would have been able to support so many more farmers through the drought. We would have been able to allow them to graze roadsides, but until we do that work, we're really not sure what we're dealing with. So I sincerely hope we receive support from our colleagues across the state to sharpen the state's focus on these very important issues. Thank you, Mayor.
You, Councillor Foster, and just bring brought to my attention, I didn't ask for questions, so apologies. I will now open up if there's any questions. Councillor O'Brien.
Through you, Mayor, thank you. If we endorse this amended motion today, how will our community know whether these motions are carried at the NAB State Council level and what actions follow?
Thank you.
Yeah, Mayor.
Sure.
Thank you for your question. These motions, if carried today, will then be submitted to the MAB for the state meeting. So the MAB will consider them first, and they may be consolidated with other motions from other councils if there's commonality between those. They'll go to the state meeting for, I guess, consideration, and if they're passed there, they will form part of the MAB's advocacy for the moving forward for the federal government. The MAB will then publish those resolutions, and we can then share that with our broader community around what was adopted, what the MAB are advocating for, and how council will support an action.
Any other questions, councillors? Councillor Lucas.
Yeah, thank you. Did the state government release a press release or give it almost directly that state governments don't fund swimming pools? And that is a council issue?
Yeah, through me, I have to take that. I don't think we've seen anything formal sent to us in that respect, Councillor Dukas. Thanks for the question.
Well, the statement was made. I think it was repeated this morning.
There's through you, Mayor. So there's been public commentary, but in terms of formally advice to council about funding or not for pools, we've received nothing official, but certainly there has been commentary in the media.
That the state doesn't fund swimming pools. It's a local government issue. That's my understanding. Yeah, well, it is. Take my word for it. So in number 5, we talk about advocacy for ongoing funding that we don't get from the state, support for renewal, upgrade and operation. Well, that's never happened. So are we hoping to change the government's mind and make swimming pools a state issue? Is that the idea of it? Or are we pushing what uphill by putting that in there?
Mayor, I'm happy to talk to this. There is, I think, broader recognition from many councils, certainly throughout Victoria and probably broader, that there is considerable funding required to be able to manage and sustain the infrastructure, the pool infrastructure. And by bringing this to the MAB, we're hoping that then that can become a federal advocacy issue.
As well as state.
So the MAB, it will go up to the MAB for the MAB State Council, but the MAB then advocate more broadly.
So they will advocate to the state and the feds
Yep.
to make swimming pools an issue
If it's adopted by
if
them.
it's adopted. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cleared that up.
Yeah. Any other questions at all, councillors? No. Thank you. I will now, does anyone else wish to speak for or against the motion? Councillor Ryan.
Through you, Mayor, I'm speaking for the motion, and it's important that that we utilise these opportunities to speak to our key advocacy points of the Shire, and our officers has done a marathon of work on these, and the depth and detail is in the report, which I encourage our community to read. Yes, we are advocating for pools to higher levels, and yes, to a point, it is our responsibility, but that doesn't mean that we can't share the load with other levels of government where we can get grant applications and broader support for local issues. So we are doing everything we can as a council, not only for pools, but for the other items within the report for our residents to peruse in their own time. Thank you.
Thank you, councillor Ryan. Any other councillors wish to speak for or against the motion? We'll turn to the mover, councillor Murray.
Thank you, through you, Mayor. As I mentioned, these 6 items are things that we feel are issues affecting our council, and we see that there is real merit in putting these forward to the MAB State Council because other councils, other local governments within Victoria are facing similar, if not the exact same issues. And I guess my view on it is it's our job to advocate to our state and federal counterparts when we see there is a gap, when we see there is a need for funding or for improvements, and that's exactly what we are doing and we hope to be supported by in submitting these motions. So,
Thank you, councillor Murray. I will now put the motion to the vote. Those in favour? 3, 6. Thank you. Motion is carried out. So let's now move on to item 2.3, complaints policy. Our Director of Corporate and Governance, Ms. Robertson, to introduce. Thank you.
Thank you, councillors. This report presents the revised complaints policy for council consideration and adoption. This policy was revised late last year due to ensuring it met with council's statutory obligations under the Local Government Act and aligning with the child safe standards. It now reflects best practice complaint handling. Probably an important focus here is in ensuring that this complaint policy complied with the child safe standards. There was quite a considerable amount of consultation undertaken, and some of that was also specifically with our Youth Advisory Board, who provide invaluable feedback around the policy and that being fit for purpose.
So, any questions, councillors? Questions? Does anyone wish to move the officer recommendation? Councillor Ryan, thank you. Mr. Under. Councillor Murray, thank you. Councillor Ryan is the mover.
Thank you very much, Mayor. So this is another great example of how we actively consult with affected groups within our community, and the updated policy addresses how it impacts children and young people. And I'd just like to thank the officers for their continuing hard work in improvements across the board.
Thank you, Councillor Ryan. As the second, Councillor Murray.
thank you, through you, Mayor. This is a really important policy. Not everyone is confident in navigating council systems, so accessibility in this space really matters. The easier and more transparent this process, the more confidence our community will have in raising any concerns that they have, and that's really important. Because how we handle complaints relates directly to community trust. So this policy update ensures we'll meet our legislative obligations while also strengthening our approach, particularly, as Councillor Ryan mentioned, with a more accessible and child-focused process. So I'm really happy to support this.
Great, thank you. Councillor Murray, does anyone else wish to speak for or against the motion? Councillor Ryan has to move that to someone.
Nothing further there. Thank you.
Now put the motion to vote. Those in favour? Motion is carried 6-0. Thank you, councillors. Item 2.4, Terang Darlington Road. RIP funding payments, Cranmore Shire Council. Director of Assets and Community, Mr. Arnott, introduced.
Mayor, through you. In 2025, Council was successful with a joint grant submission to the Commonwealth Government's Safer Local Roads and Infrastructure Program. The funding application was a joint submission with Corangamite Shire for upgrade works to the Darlington Terang Road. Both councils are responsible for segments of the road, and upgrade works were funded in both government areas. Moyne and Corangamite agreed to undertake the upgrade works to their own sections of the road as distinct projects. And as Moyne Shire submitted the funding application and holds the agreement with the Commonwealth, Moyne is the funding recipient for the total grant amount. Payments to Corangamite Shire for their portion of the grant funding are required in line with the milestones in the agreement. So this report seeks approval to make those milestone payments to Corangamite Shire Council and delegate authority to the Chief Executive Officer to approve the payments as they are above the CEO's delegated limit. This project is a great example of neighbouring councils working together to attract additional funding for our roads. The project will deliver important safety and productivity improvements to our rural road network. The recommendation is before you. Thank you.
Mr. Arnott, councillors, any questions? No questions. Does anyone wish to move the officer recommendation? Councillors, thank you. Councillor Ryan. Seconder, Councillor Foster. Thank you. Councillor Ryan as the mover.
Thank you, through you, Mayor. As Mr. Arnott said, this is a wonderful example of neighbouring councils working really well together for improvements across both shires. And moving this motion is a very operational step in that process. So I'm happy to give them. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Ryan. Councillor Foster as the seconder.
Thank you, Mayor. I concur, and I think I'd love to see more collaboration with our neighbours on various projects. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Foster. Does anyone else wish to speak for or against the motion? I return to the mover. Councillor Ryan.
Nothing
Nothing
further.
further. I now put the motion to vote. Those in favour? Carried 6. The motion is carried. Thank you, councillors. And shout out to our Corangamates. We now move on to item 2.5, MS 999 stormwater drainage relining at Whalers Drive in Port Fairy. Again, over to you, Mr. Arnott. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. Through you. Council has undertaken a public tender for the design and installation of a lining system to stormwater pipelines in Whalers Drive, Port Fairy. Underground stormwater assets are crucial to our drainage network, and relining existing pipelines can be a cost-effective and less intrusive option to renew these assets. This report details the tender process, evaluation and officer recommendation, and that recommendation is due to. Thank you.
Mr. Arnott, any questions regarding this one, councillors? Councillor Ryan, thank
Through
you.
you, Mayor. Mr. Arnott, given some pipe renewal runs through private property, what's the plan for managing access and any community disruption during works?
Thank you. And through the net. One of the major factors in seeking tenders for relining rather than replacing the underground pipes is to avoid disruption where possible and limit excavation works, particularly as you point out that some of the stormwater assets traverse private property as well as on public land. So there will be some disruptions while work is underway. However, these are minor in comparison to the replacement works.
Any other questions at all, councillors?
Yes,
Councillor
thank
Lucas,
you.
thank you.
Mr. Arnott, is it cheaper to reline or to replace the pipes?
Through the man, thank you for the question. Typically, it's cheaper to reline. That can change depending upon the size of the pipe, but typically cheaper, yes, and also enables us to reuse the existing infrastructure there and extend its life.
Yeah. Now, follow up. Yeah, there was 600 mil pipes that should have been 900. Are you going to replace those with the proper size pipes?
Through the mayor, so there was an error in the tender which was proved on the ground through inspections, and that we believe to be a documentation error at the time of installation rather than a drainage issue now.
So the pipes are the right size, but the the report had the wrong dimensions.
Through the Mayor, that's correct.
Well, that's a lucky one, isn't it?
Any other questions, councillors? Does anyone wish to move the officer recommendation? Councillors? Thank you. Councillor Ryan, thank you. And a seconder? Councillor Foster, thank you. Councillor Ryan, as the mover.
My weight in gold here today,
Yeah.
Mayor. I'm happy to move this motion. It's great to see some improvements to our infrastructure and something that we can, hold true. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Ryan. Thanks for keeping things moving. Councillor Foster as the seconder.
Thanks, Mayor. Well, it's obviously, I find drainage pretty uninspiring. You can't see it, so and it's always so expensive, but a necessary thing for us to do, particularly in that area, which is subject to inundation from time to time. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Foster. Does anyone wish to speak for or against the motion? Councillor Ryan as the mover.
Nothing further.
Nothing further. Thank you. I'll now put the motion to the vote. Those in favour, thank you, councillors. The motion is carried. 6-0. We now move on to item 2.6, request to revoke unused road grazing licence, road reserve off Cunningham Lane in Mortlake. Over to you, Director of Corporate and Governance, Ms. Robson. Thank you.
Thank you, councillors. This report relates to an application received from Urbis on behalf of Yanara seeking the revocation of an agricultural licence over an unused road reserve located off Connie Warren Lane in Mortlake. The licence was originally issued by DCAR under the Land Act for grazing purposes. The recommendation there is for council to authorise the CEO to progress that revocation. That would need to then go back through DCAR for final approval.
Ms. Robson. Councillors, questions at all? Councillor Lucas.
Yes. Does this lane have a name?
Through Mayor, currently doesn't.
It doesn't. You find that unusual?
Thank you. Any other questions, councillors? No. Does anyone wish to move the officer recommendation, councillors? Councillor Ross. And a seconder. Councillor Murray. Great to see you. You move it over. I now invite Councillor Ross as the mover. Thank you.
No, it's just been a move that all those projects forward. And hopefully at the end of it, we'll have a nice sealed road to someone.
Thank you, Councillor Ross. And as the seconder, Councillor Murray.
Thank you. Through you, Mayor. Happy to second this one. It seems like a pretty procedural and necessary thing to do. So I'm happy for our council to have done their bit and hand over to DCAR.
Councillor Murray, does anyone wish to speak for or against the motion? Return to Councillor Ross as the mover.
A lot of work's going on out that direction. It pays off at some stage.
Thank you. I'll now put the motion to the vote. Those in favour of the motion is carried. Thank you, councillors. We move on to item 2.7, Council Defence Director of Corporate and Governance, Ms. Robinson, to introduce. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor and councillors. This report just seeks the endorsement of the councillor attendance at identified upcoming events.
Great, thank you. Does anyone have any questions, councillors? Questions? Anyone wish to move the officer recommendation, Councillor Murray? Thank you. And a second up, Councillor Foster. And Councillor Murray is the mover.
Thank you. Through you, Mayor. Again, this is a procedural item that we need to move each month. But for our community, I think it's a really interesting piece of paper that you can have a look at. It just sort of details all of the things that the Mayor and councillors have been up to for the month. So it's always a good read, I think.
Yeah, Murray and Councillor Foster is the second one.
Thank you, Mayor. So just to clarify, this is what we're going to be up to for the next week.
Sorry.
Yes. So
Thank you
it's
for
still a good
clarifying.
read. It's still a good read though. Nothing further to add.
Councillor Foster. Does anyone wish to speak for or against the motion? No. Councillor Murray as the mover. Nothing further. I'll now put the motion to the vote. Those in favour? Thank you, councillors. The motion is carried 6-0. Thank you. We now move on to item 3.1, Mayor and Councillor activities. Are there any questions or commentary around those at all?
The one I was looking at.
All right, Freddie. No questions or Tiffany's insights, comments? Thank you. We now move on to item 2.2, notice of motion. There are none. Now move on to general matters. Item 3.3. Does any councillor have any councillor?
Through you, Mayor, I just want to recognise our officers who have again delivered an incredible Inspiring Women of Moyne event, which was kindly hosted by the Borough Chambers in Port Fairy for International Women's Day. The council received nominations for 35 incredible women who were all recognised on the day for their contributions across the Shire. And I would also like to thank guest speakers Lauren Tuck and Mia Wolf, who spoke of their lived experience in balancing the scales in their professional careers. Again, a wonderful event.
Yes, yeah, well said, Councillor Ryan. And also, do a shout out to Councillor Murray for that event. Did a fantastic job. It was a very, very well attended event. We'll probably get expanding the bigger venue for next year. It was bursting at the seams. Yeah, agree with your comments. Anyone else have any general matters? Yeah, Councillor Murray.
Thank you, through you, Mayor. We had the Port Fairy Folk Festival a couple of weeks ago. Once again, just a phenomenal event. The economic benefit that it brings, particularly into Port Fairy, but to some of the other parts of our Shire, are amazing. And the quality of the music, just all around amazing event. And I really congratulate the committee and all of the volunteers, hundreds and hundreds of volunteers, predominantly local members, local people that come together to ensure that event can go ahead each year. And I'm really grateful because it's probably my favourite weekend of the year. And just shouting out that next year will be their 50th year. It's a big milestone. So that's one to look forward to and put in the calendars. I also wanted to mention that this Sunday, so commencing Saturday, but rolling into Port Fairy on Sunday, will be the Murray to Moyne event. This is a really great event and it's always a lot of fun seeing them roll into town. And just finally, I wanted to shout out to the Northern Raiders Cricket Club. They invited me along to their presentation night last week. And if there's a gold standard of great club culture, I think they've probably sit right at the top of the list. Everyone is so warm, so welcoming. They know how to have fun. And thanks for having me along and good luck for next season.
Well said, Councillor Murray. Any other councillors have any general matters? I'll just shout out along with the folkie, the street fair, which council did, a shout out to the events team. Next level. It was phenomenal. It was a mission to get the kids away from there. It was a brilliant event. I think it's really, grown over the years, and I think they, do a wonderful job. And they've had a super busy couple of months in that space. So a big shout out to that team in particular. And also the Federation picnic in Mortlake is on this Sunday. There's going to be amazing classic vintage cars, music, food. It's going to be a real vibe. I just can't remember the start time. I've tried to find it. We've got this. We'll be posting a video later today or tomorrow, but a massive shout out to Federation Picnic. More information, I'm clicking on it now.
12:30.
9 a.m. this Sunday at Tea Tree Lake in Mortlake. It's going to be a ripper event. Any other councillors have any general matters at all? Good. Thank you, councillors. Urgent business 3.4, they're undone. We now move on to item, what we do this together? Separate. Mr. Elton.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Would you like to item 4.0 and 5 in the schedule and the report? Happy to
Yep.
join them together?
Absolutely.
Great. Over to you, Mr. Everstein, with a CEO update.
Thank you. Yeah, through Mayor, thank you for the opportunity. So, the meeting schedule is there in the agenda. Another busy and active month, which has been terrific. So just to update a few further things on what council staff have been up to and are currently working on. So just back to the Folk Festival, just want to recognise, in addition to Street Fair that was mentioned, but lots of other of our staff that support the lead up to the Folk Festival. So lots of various caravan parks are full. Our local laws, traffic management, open spaces. We always encourage our team to have all the places through Moyne. We know people will be travelling to get to Folky looking schmick, and I think they did a great job this year keeping that standard high. We've got waste pickups and all sorts of things. So really pleased to say that our cooperation and partnership with the Folk Festival Committee is really strong. It's months and months in the planning. We play a role with supporting the committee, and congratulate them on a great 49th Folky, and looking forward to the 50th and beyond. Just on roads, which is important to all road users across the Shire. So our unsealed road sheeting program is now 60% complete this financial year and resumes in April as we see the end of the warmer summer months and conditions. Our road rehabilitation program continues on. So we've got construction in progress at the moment on Hopkins Fall Road from Wangoom Road to Elmsford Wangoom Road. Also got works on Hughes Road and Markswell Road nearing completion. Our works on the Darlington Terang Road are progressing well, and also Warrendoo Streatham Road in the early stage of its pre-work. Then we also have our roadside slashing almost complete for the season, and we still have one slasher in operation at the moment to act on customer service requests, which we do get through things like Snap Send Solve and other ways that community contact us. So thank you for those that have done that. With early years, our enrolments in February stood at 347. That is actually a decrease of 2 places on same time last year, and that primarily centres around our kindergarten care in 3-year-old program at Koroit and lack of availability that we're focusing on. And it's also now the 12-month anniversary of our Roots, but Roots Childcare in Garvock operating in a council facility there. So congratulations to them for their first year, and that's added over 30 enrolments in our Shire. With our capital works at the moment, so folks in and around Koroit would be well aware of our activity there. So High Street in Koroit, and then also along Commercial Road, the Koroit Township Renewal Project. So that's one of our biggest projects this year and is progressing well. There'll be a pause leading into the Irish Festival, and then it'll recommence again after the festival. We've had lots of important feedback from community, and we've responded to those along the way. So we really do appreciate those opportunities and feedback that have been coming through. With our asset renewal, so we've got restumping at the Toolong Hall, replacement of a septic pump at the Warrendoo public toilets, weatherboard, window repairs at Kirkstall Hall, and other repair works at MacArthur Hall and Senior Citizens. So plenty going on with our assets. So further to those works, we've got Montgomery Pavilion in Mortlake has now been completed. Our works there around signage and a new heater and urn. And other works. So we've also seen some works in Port Fairy at the Cricket Club, which occurred to be ready for the Folk Festival. Just on our Gibb Street Bridge, so we will continue to provide fortnightly updates to community on that. So the next update will occur this week, so please look out for that. And that'll deal with the technical evaluation occurring there at the moment. So we look forward to continuing that regular update to community as we progress forward. And then sort of to round out, just to make mention of a few other items available for community. So we do have a free grant writing workshop that is on offer. So we can be contacted through our website, but on Tuesday the 14th of October from 5 till 7 at night, there's a free online grant writing workshop, which might be really useful for folks across the Shire that might benefit from understanding that process. And we also have the opportunity for nominees for our community assets committees, and that covers places like Southcombe Park, Port Fairy, Victoria Park, Koroit, Mortlake Rec Reserve, Miranda District Community Facility, and the Koroit Theatre. So nominations there are open until the 30th of March. And we've recently had our round 2 of the Community Assistance Fund close mid-March, which was on the 13th. So we'll have those assessments and decisions to councillors coming shortly. And last but not least, we have our carbon offset program available at the moment for grant nominations. So they're open to members of the community, private landholders and whatnot, up to $5,000. So that's been a program that's been running, I think, over 10 years, so or thereabouts. So an annual program there for tree planting. So that's the end of that update, but happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Everstein. Always a thorough update. Really appreciate that. Any questions at all? Mr. Everstein, councillors. Yeah, Councillor Ryan.
For you, Mayor. Page 22 of the CEO activity report under strategic planning. There's 3 projects there that would be great to get an update on, if possible. The update provided has remained the same for a little period now, so it'd be great to see if that's where they still sit or if there's any updates further to that. Thank you.
So I might pass to Ms McNamara for a response. Thanks for the question.
Great. Yep. Thank you.
Mayor. Thank you, Councillor Ryan. And thanks for the question. In terms of updates since the last reporting timeframe, there are no new updates. We are still waiting on advice from the department, which is state government, to ensure that the amendment documentation is compliant. And that's in relation to the Koroit structure plan and the corrections anomalies amendment. They did seek some updating on mapping, etc. So working through that. Sale of the Warndu Hall has also adjusted some of the corrections that we need to rectify within the mapping. And the land use strategy, there will be an update coming in next month or so to council briefing. And we are reliant on some more budget, which will roll into next year to deliver it in full. Hope that answers your query.
Thank you. Any further questions, Councillor Lucas?
I'm going back to the meeting schedule because I don't think you asked whether we had any questions. Unless I missed
we
it.
did them together. So yeah, that's fine.
So
Thank you, Councillor Lucas.
to the CEO, the Mortlake Business Gathering, how did that go?
Yeah, through you, Mayor. So thanks for the question. So we had myself and the Mayor attended that a couple of weeks ago with predominantly retailers in Mortlake and instigated through them with our economics development team. So I really appreciate their effort to make that available. It started with about an hour conversation with retailers within Mortlake. There was then a workshop that was held after that event for some social media type training. But no, really good. I think it was a great opportunity to hear about their priorities. I think there's lots of opportunities together that we can focus on. We have other similar bodies across the Shire that focus on these things. So it's great to see this conversation starting to happen in a refreshed way. So I think we'll be coming back together. There was a commitment to continue these moving forward. And it sort of also came on the back of events like business forums and workshops that we've held over the last 12 to 18 months. So lots of opportunities, I think, particularly promoting, main events and opportunities for folks to come to Mortlake and spend their hard-earned money here. So, yeah, looking forward to working with that group moving forward. Do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I think one of the things that stood out for me was the visitor spend in Mortlake was, I can't remember the exact statistics, but that was quite surprising. And the retailers were quite surprised as well that the visitor spend in Mortlake is a lot higher, I think, which will, get those details and share them around with councillors. But that was some of the work that they were looking at, how do they, capitalise on that, whether it's, people travelling through or destinations, help them out in that space. Any other questions?
Yep. Well, with me, the Eastern Mar meeting with the Shire on the 20th of March. Was that with the Shire or with the Shire officers?
Through you, Mayor. So thanks for the question. So it was with both Shire officers and the Mayor and Deputy Mayor.
Right. So what come of it? Because it says here, Northern Shire Council meeting.
So through you, Mayor. So we provided an update to councillors through the weekly Friday forward, what was covered. So but happy to obviously take further updates and questions from there.
Okay.
But it was, just to paraphrase, it was the first kind of, it was the second meeting, I should say, of its kind. A similar one occurred last year, and so it was a follow-up to that. And a commitment's been made by both Eastern Mar and Moyne Shire to continue those on a quarterly basis moving forward.
Yeah, and very, very positive things about partnerships and working together going forward. Yeah. Great. Any other questions? Yes, Councillor Hotspur.
Thank you, Mayor. And thank you, Mr. Everstein, for another detailed report. I always say that if anyone wants to know what Moyne Shire is up to, that's the report to read. So it's good. On page 12 of your report, you make reference to the scope of works currently underway at the Port Fairy pool. And I'm wondering, I know there are members of our community who are interested to know exactly what's happening. Is there a plan to sort of share that information more broadly?
Yeah, through you, Mayor, and then I'll pass over to Mr. Arnott to provide a bit more specifics for you. But yeah, absolutely. So we will continue to update fortnightly to the community as we have been doing since last month and continue to do so moving forward. But the update we'll do this week will give a bit more specifics around the technical assessment that's occurring at the moment. So with that, I might throw to Mr. Arnott just to provide more about what we will communicate this week through a media release.
Thank you. Through the Mayor. I guess just to go into some detail and give an update as to what's been done on site so far, and also spell out the different components that are going to be analysed in the facility. And happy to go through some of those now if you like. So I guess identify all current defects, failures and compliance issues with the facility, to assess the structural integrity of the building and roof elements, to measure the extent, causes and remediation requirements for mould contamination, to assess plant and equipment safety, compliance, condition and expected remaining life, to assess the pool shell, concourse and related structural components, to identify short-term rectification works to enable safe operation if feasible, identify and quantify the medium and long-term renewal, upgrade and existing asset component requirements, and prepare a life cycle-based cost estimate or cost estimates covering ongoing maintenance costs and capital renewal costs. So that provides some further detail, and there's obviously much more granular detail that's required to meet some of those objectives of the report. And those investigations are underway at the moment on site. The next step is to take those findings away and start to compile the report and put together cost estimates around what's found.
Thank you.
So through you, Mayor, so just to come back to round out that response. So when we bring the report to councillors for consideration in May, that report will be made public. So everyone across the community will have access to the same latest information we at council have. At that point, we expect we'll be considering what that information means. So it'll be more a point where we're noting that information and providing that to the public at the earliest possible opportunity. But what it means and what we do with that really depends on what that assessment shows us. But at least at that point in time, we'll be providing the transparency of what that assessment is showing, and all folks across the community will have that same information we have.
Very, very good. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, councillors? Councillor Dukas.
Thank you. Let me see, what page is it? I reckon it's page 17, under contracts, corporate and governance services, etc. Page 17, try that. Garden maintenance services advertised the 21st of March. And then there's another garden maintenance service re-advertised. So is that the same service or are they two different services?
Mr. Arnold, take that one.
Through the mayor, that's correct. They are the same tender. So one's expiring and so one will go out to market, and that's related to our aged care supported home programs. So contractors that can deliver those services.
So they're two different services.
Through the mayor, no, they are the same service. One tender or contract period is finishing at 30 June and we're going out to market for a new version of that.
Right. Okay, so two different job numbers. That's okay, thank you. That'll fix the problem.
Any other questions, councillors? Apologies for the question without notice. Just the meeting with Parks, or the dinner, sorry, with Parks on the 19th of March. And about that, is it?
Yep.
A great meeting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Worth sharing. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for the question. So mid last week, the mayor and I were invited by Parks Victoria to a networking event in Colac, and that was attended by the board and executive and senior team at Parks Victoria, along with other councils in the Southwest and other agencies, if you like. So great opportunity. Parks Victoria sort of spoke about more folks they have on the ground in our region. So some restructuring that had occurred in their organisation. Their main focus in recent months have been the fires in Gellibrand, and I know on that day the board had just been through a tour through that area. But I think also, it was an opportunity for us to talk about places that are important that Parks Victoria oversee here in Moyne, such as Tower Hill and other places. So we took our opportunity, of course, to do that, and we've got the intent to do follow-up conversations with Parks Victoria as well. So they have a new leadership team there largely, so lots of new faces on their board and in their senior leadership team. So it's a really great opportunity for us to set new relationships. It's really important we work well with Parks Victoria, and it's a new fresh opportunity to do that for us.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Mr. Epstein. Any final questions at all?
Yeah, one more.
Councillor
Thank
Lucas.
you. Now, where is it? Yes. What's it? Controlling coastlines while generating power research project underway, it says here. And on the other side of the page, it says the project will conclude and a final report will be released in 2026. Now, that's a final report, but I can't think in the last 4 years that we've ever had a report. So I don't know if they're getting paid or not, but they should give some of the money back.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Ms McNamara wanted to answer that question now or... Sure, yep.
Thanks, Ms. McNamara.
Through you, Mayor. Thank you, Councillor Dukas. It is a partnership project with Deakin, from what I understand. Keen to bring something in if that's okay. I'll take on notice what previous updates have been provided, but it's definitely a partnership project that had occurred through Deakin Uni.
Thank you. All right. We've been told about it, but, I've never seen a report. Don't know if anybody, put your hand up, councillors, if you've seen a report. Well, the new councillors probably wouldn't have, but...
Councillor Murray.
We've had 2 presentations on this. Yeah, I feel pretty informed.
When?
Councillor Murray has the exact dates.
I'm sure you got the right project.
Councillor Dukas, we'll get an update. Yeah,
Please
we'll
do.
take that offline. Thank you. Thank you, councillors, and thank you, Mr. Everstock, for your thorough update. On confidential items, there are none today. So thank you, everyone, for listening. We bid farewell, we say wook, and we're off to go fossicking at the Great Mount Shadwell Quarry for Olivine. That's very, very exciting. So thank you everyone for listening. Now declare the meeting closed at 1:55. Thank you.